Hi, Professor Skillman. Today I am doing my lesson with a friend over Skype, my friend Mercy. Say hi, Mercy.
Hi.
I had made plans to teach my lesson to my friend Alicia, and she is not answering any of my texts. So I can only assume she has flaked on me. So, unfortunately, this is my class today, is over Skype. So because I'm recording on my laptop again, imagine that I have a nice PowerPoint behind me with the PowerPoint slides. I have them here, but I hopefully will not be relying too hard on pre-written material. Alright, so here we go. Who here in class is fans of TV shows that have a mystery that you have to solve as you watch it? I know I am, where someone is kidnapped or killed, and you are given clues as to what has happened throughout the show. These are really my favorite type of TV shows. So I have a little murder mystery for you today to learn our grammar lesson. And it starts out, last night, Louis Mayer died at his home in Miami. Phil Fork, a police officer, a police detective, it's much more important than an officer, was the first person to arrive at the scene. And this is what he found. And behind me, you will see the lovely picture of the crime scene.
Oh, yeah.
So, can anyone point out anything that they see in the crime scene that we may have studied before, vocab-wise?
Footprints.
Oh, yes, there's definitely footprints. And which direction do they look like they're leading?
Well, like, the heel of the foot is kind of, like, facing that back way, so I'm guessing he's, like, leaving the shower.
Good. He is leaving the shower, and that little room is the shower room. What else can we see in this picture?
Well, a body, but...
Right, there's a body right in the middle. That's poor Mr. Mayer.
Uh-huh. Get the toothbrush. It looks like it has toothpaste on top of it.
Good. So, if there's toothpaste still on the toothbrush, we can assume he probably hasn't brushed his teeth yet tonight.
Nope.
And then, anything else in this bathroom scene that we can point out?
One of the towels kind of says his, but the other one's all wrinkled up, so...
Good observation.
They're wet.
The towel that says his looks very nice and pristine, and the towel that says hers is wet and scrunched up like it's been used. So that's good. Good observational skills.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Alright, so the lesson we are going to be learning in this murder mystery we have before us while we solve it is how exactly do simple past tense and past progressive tense kind of work together to create a picture of what happened in the past. So I have some sample sentences here, and I'm going to read them, and you're going to tell me what action came first and what action came second in the sentence, or if you can't tell. So our first sentence is, Mr. Mayer took a shower before he died. We can we can understand from the sentence that the shower happened before Mr. Mayer died.
Mm-hmm.
But can we tell if he got out of the shower before he died? Or if maybe he was still taking a shower when he died? Can we really tell from that sentence?
Can you repeat it?
Mr. Mayer took a shower before he died.
Well, I'm guessing the shower was, like, already done before he died. Because I guess if he died while taking the shower, then...
Well, we can guess that he probably was, but we don't know for sure, just from this one sentence. If we had more sentences around it, maybe we could figure it out from context. But just from this one sentence, it's a little unsure. But what about this sentence? Tell me if you can decide if the first action was still happening while the second action took place. A boyfriend was hiding in the shower when Mr. Mayer came in. So was the first action, hiding, still taking place when the second action, came in, happened?
Yeah.
Right. We can definitely say that the boyfriend was still hiding. He was in the process of hiding when Mr. Mayer came into the bathroom. And that is the gist of what this lesson is about, is definitively saying what the status of each action is, if it's finished or if it's still in progress. So let's go back to what we already know, the simple past. We know this, we're experts at this, you have all learned this and got this down pat. It's just an action that started in the past and it finished in the past. So Phil Fork arrived at 10:30. He got to the house at 10:30 and that's over with. It's in our past. Mrs. Mayer drank several cups of coffee. That's an irregular verb. It's the past tense of drink, but it's the same idea. She drank the cups and it's over with. And then past progressive. Now you all have learned this in form, but the meaning still seems to be a little shaky. So past progressive just means an action that was in progress at a specific time in our past. Like I was singing yesterday. So yesterday, the time in our past, I was in the process of singing. And we form this, as you know, by taking the past tense of the to be verb, which in my example, I was. Was is the past tense of to be. We add the simple verb form, sing, and ing. I was singing. Our past tense moves from the verb to be. So it's not I was singing, it's just I was singing. Now if we want to add these two together to talk about two actions that may have interrupted one another or been happening at the same time, we add the simple past and the past progressive. We use these together to show that one action started first and was still happening when the second action came and interrupted it. So an example of that would be Mr. Mayer was brushing his teeth when Mr. Mayer was brushing his teeth when the murderer entered the room. Or another one would be Phil Fork was eating when he heard about the murder. So our first action was already in progress when our second action interrupted and halted it. And there's one other way we can use past progressive to talk about things that happened in the past in relation to each other. And that is to add two past progressive forms together to talk about things that happened at the same time in our past. We link these two verb phrases with the word while. And an example of this would be I was singing, I was singing while I was taking a shower. I didn't interrupt the singing with taking a shower. I was doing them at the same time. So we link these two with the word while. And that tells us that there's no interruption of one. They both happened at the same time in our past. Alrighty, so we're going to head right back into our story here. Mr. Mayer's wife, Margot, told Fork, "It was an accident. My husband took a shower at 10 p.m. and then he slipped on a piece of soap and fell down. And that's how he died. And that was the story she gave. So, do you think that's true, based on what we already know about this scene of the crime?
No.
Nope. I don't think so either. We're going to discuss that a little bit. And so we're going to hop right into our first exercise here. And you have your exercise 1 sheet in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to be reading some sentences out loud. And then I'm going to ask you which action in the sentence came first and which action came second and interrupted it.
Yeah.
And you're just going to tell me whichever option A or option B, you think is right. And then we're gonna discuss it a little bit and why the correct answer is the correct answer. So, number 1, while Mr. Mayer was brushing his teeth, someone entered the room. So our first option would be Mr. Mayer finished brushing his teeth before someone entered, or Mr. Mayer was alone when he started brushing his teeth. Which one do you think happened?
He was alone.
He was alone. Why do you think that was? What clues from the sentence lead you to believe that?
Well, it said that while he was brushing his teeth, so it was kind of like he was already brushing his teeth before the person came in.
Yes, exactly. He started brushing his teeth before the person came in and interrupted that action. That's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, when he got Mrs. Mayer's call, Phil Fork left his office and drove to her house. A, Mr. Mayer called before Phil Fork left his office, or B, Mrs. Mayer called after Phil Fork left his office. Mrs. Mayer. Mr. Mayer didn't call post-mortem.
Yeah. It's A.
A. And why do you think that is?
Well, it's kind of like, well, I'll be saying the same thing, but when he got Miss called her Mrs. too. Mrs. Mayer's call. So it's like he called her first before he left.
Right.
He had to receive the phone call before leaving.
Right. His leaving was dependent on him getting the call. So That's good. That's good. For the sake of my brief 10-minute presentation, that will be all of exercise 1 we're going to do. We're going to discuss a little bit about exercise 2, probably only 3 or 4 of these possibilities for the sake of brevity. And so with exercise 2, what's going to happen is I'm going to ask you a question about the crime that happened, and you're going to tell me if it was probably true, PT, or probably false, based on just what you think about what you've been shown and told about what this crime is.
Oh.
So for number 1, Mr. Mayer died before Phil Fork arrived. Do you think that's probably true or probably false?
I'm trying to remember who died. I already forgot.
Mr. Mayer, he's the one that died. Phil Fork is the detective.
Okay. Yeah.
Probably true. Yes. And do you think, why do you think that? Just what's your rationale?
Well, he had to have been called before he could have arrived, because wait.
Right. No, yeah. That's right. Why would he be called if no one was dead?
Yeah.
I mean, unless they were friends, which this story doesn't tell us they're friends. They could hate each other. We don't know.
Yeah, they could be arch nemesis.
They could be, and he's just doing his job. Number 2, someone was hiding in the shower while Mr. Mayer was preparing to take his shower. You think that's probably true or probably false? Based
Probably true.
Why do you say that?
Well, I see like the footsteps right by the body, and if he would have like slipped on that piece of soap that was on the floor, they could have at least been kind of skidded where he
True.
slipped.
That's a good observation. I like that you pointed out which direction the footsteps were leading. When I looked at it the first time, I didn't see that. I thought the footsteps were leading into the shower, and I didn't understand why was Mr. Mayer wearing his shoes in the shower. But
yeah, there's no shoes on him.
Alrighty. So we all seem to have a pretty clear idea of what happened at this murder scene. So, in partners with your fellow students, I want you to get together and come up with 5 sentences describing, using the form we studied today, past progressive with the simple past, to describe an action that interrupted a previously progressing action. I want 5 sentences using that form to describe what happened that night that Mr. Mayer died, how he died, and just the events surrounding his death. So I'm going to go ahead and let you pair up and get those sentences, and that'll be our last activity for the day. So I think everyone did a really good job with this lesson, and you were very attentive today in class, so thank you. Thank you very much.